Trust me when I say that. This is not going to be anything in regards to the esoteric or esoteric. This is Black History Month. And we're going to be talking about Freemasonry from a divided point of view. Most people don't like to have that conversation, but we're going to have a very blunt conversation in regards to Freemasonry and some of the things that some of you may or may not know within the history of Freemasonry here in these United States of America. Tonight, I'll be sharing information with you that some of you may or may not know. And if you would like to call in, you certainly can do so. It's going to be interesting, and I don't want anybody to feel a certain way in regards to what we're going to have this conversation about. This conversation is going to be one that I want you as a Mason, a potential Mason, someone who's able to see this from various points of views. This is not a one-hit where you can say, okay, it's all good. This is not an all-good, feel-good show tonight. We're going to talk about some things that may make some people really feel uncomfortable, whether you are a Black Mason or a white Mason. Hold on just a second. Hold on, brother Melvin Little from Georgia is calling in. I'm just right now. I'm just getting in here, brother Little, and I'm going to have you to introduce yourself as we begin this show tonight. And as I said before, this show tonight is going to be a little different. We're going to go into the issue of racism. We're going to go into the issue of being divided. We're going to talk about this issue that nobody likes to talk about. Everybody wants to be kumbaya. Everybody wants to feel like, it is not. Now, I would say this. I enjoy friends I've made, nationalities, because people like this. So if you're coming on tonight, Spank, ain't you free and accept the Mason? Label yourself as. This show tonight is going to be a little different than shows I've done this year. I've probably done something similar to this show, but tonight, I think it's time for us just to have a real honest conversation and stop sweeping things under the rug like if it's okay and it's not okay. Because some of us are just scared to stand up and speak truth to power. You are afraid. You want to be so accepted. You want to be so in till you're afraid to speak truth when it's in front of your face. You're just terrified of it. When are you going to stop being scared? I just want to know. And some of you may be saying, well, damn, what got you so heated? Why are you like this tonight? I'm like this because I see too many of us very educated, can speak the King's language very eloquently.
Yes, boys. Yes, boys. I'm sorry, brother. Go ahead.
We can do all of that, but we don't have the balls to stand up when it's time to stand up. We don't have them kahundas. So it gets me frustrated when I see Black Masons, when they're around their counterpart white Masons. And I'm going to get into that. You cower down. And don't tell me you don't. I've seen you do it. And it's just, it bothers me. You scared of something. I don't know what you're scared of. You know, and it does. It bothers me. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say it doesn't. It does. Because it tells me something about your character. It tells me something about who you are. Now, I have my special guest on tonight is Melvin Little. He hails from the Most Wishful Progressive Grand Lodge out of Georgia. Brother Little, would you go ahead and introduce yourself, please?
How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing fine. I appreciate it.
And I come from a progressive global. There'll be some things coming up that we're going to be rewriting things, looking at masonry as a whole. Because masonry is a progressive science, not a history lesson. But that's a story for another day. So we're gonna stick to the subject matter.
So, brother Melvin Little and myself, we're in various Facebook chat groups. I posed the question: I posed a question in this particular group. This particular group is called Irregular versus Regular. That's the name of the group. And I'm in the group. I chat every now and then. I say some things that can be controversial. So tonight, I posted, or yesterday I posted, is there a group like this group amongst white Masons? Is there a group that is called regular versus irregular amongst what I would consider white Masons? And some of you may say, well, what do you consider white Mason? Predominantly Grand Lodges that has over 60% of its membership is white. That is a white Grand Lodge, period. You can say it's mixed, you can say whatever. If the Grand Master rules and it's 60% white, it's a white Grand Lodge. I'm just being honest with you. Some of you can say whatever you want to say, but that's the fact, okay? That's just the facts, okay? So when we're talking about mainstream, predominantly white Grand Lodges, we're talking about PHA, we're talking about AF and AM, modern, free, international, we're talking about it all. And we're going to put it all out there so everybody can have a better understanding of what really occurs. A lot of times the masonry is swept under the rug because people are afraid to even talk about it. So, Brother Little, I'm going to give you first crack at it. You can go ahead and we're gonna have this conversation tonight. And if anybody else feel froggy and they want to jump in and have the conversation, not an argument, but a conversation, you can do that. Because this is not something you're going to get into and going to argue. I'm not going to argue with you. We're going to have a conversation, a decent conversation in regards to the great divide within Freemasonry. Brother Little, go ahead.
This is how I feel. If you call yourself a scholar, or you call yourself a historian, or somebody that knows it all, people know you, it means nothing. If you are not doing what Freemasonry actually calls for, because if you're Scottish Rite, your one mission is to set humanity free.
Repeat that again.
Set humanity free. Humanity. Black, white, green, or brown. So while everybody refer to Albert, who was a Confederate general who was over three brigades, they don't like to talk about the fact that the Confederacy even charged him with treason. Not because he was trying to set blacks free, because he had personal issues. He was a quitter. He quit the army twice. Scottish Rite. He was a Scottish Rite Sovereign Grand Commander. His job was to set humanity free. But he was a damn general of the Confederate Army. I don't want to hear shit about Albert Pike. It's over with him. Everything he based his oath and obligation on, he was a Confederate general of 3 brigades. He had an Indian wife, but yet now he had Indians fighting Indians in the Indian army, and he still had a brigade of people taking out black people. That's not setting humanity free. That's racist actions. That's the first level what I'm going to start on. Let me shut up, Brother Muhammad. I'm going to let you finish up because I'm going in tonight.
All right. So I'm going to go this way because people don't like to talk about heroes. And I'm going to talk about a couple of them. So let's talk about Medgar Evers, for instance. Do you know who shot and killed Medgar Evers? Do you understand who this person was at the time and in the power that he held in the state of Mississippi and why he walked away free? Have any of you considered looking that up for yourself to see exactly who this guy was that shot Medgar Evers and walked away scot-free? Oh yeah, so they had his trial a few years back and he was found guilty. So what? The man lived his life. He was damn near close to deathbed before they said anything. You need to go Masons. I'm talking about you Masons who are so hell-bent on being, I'm talking to you Black Masons who are so hell-bent on just being accepted. And this is Black History Month. So you need to go look that person up. And then after you get done looking him up, you need to go look up who did the bombing in Alabama at the church and killed those young ladies, those young girls. Find out who they were. What lodge were they a part of? Oh, you didn't know that they was Masons that bombed that building in Alabama, did you not? Oh, you didn't know that the person that shot Medgar Evers was a Mason. Oh, you didn't know that. Oh, but Hawkins, that was so long ago. We've made such progress. What are you talking about? 30, 50 years ago is not long ago. 35 years ago is not long ago. And you so hell bent on just because they consider you who you are, you was already there before they even considered you to be who they claim that you are. And then the fact of the matter is, let's take one step further. So the young man, Trayvon Martin, right? His father is a Mason. Martin Free, if I'm not mistaken. But I seen some
the guy who killed him, his dad is a judge.
Yep, the guy who killed him, dad is a judge. Now check this out.
And a Mason.
Oh, snap. That I didn't know. That I didn't know. Now check this out. So here is the kid Martin. Shit. Oh man, I'm messing his name up. Oh shit. But anyway. Trayvon Martin. Thank you. I appreciate it. Trayvon Martin's father is a member of Martin Free, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm not mistaken on that one. And I see this man on television. And then I go to the various chat groups and I see my fellow brothers who look like me, who are Masons, talking about his father. Oh, his father's the clandestine Mason. I don't know why he asking for help and assistance. What is wrong with you? I can't grab it, brother. I'm trying to understand and grab the mentality that we have toward each other. I'm really trying to understand it. And tonight it got me to that point, to that peak, to where I needed to vent. I want to talk about it. I want people who are on this chat line, if you want to call in, I need you to talk about it because it's real. It is real. See, we like to sweep things under the rug. Oh, did you know that before 1996, 1994, that those Grand Lodge State, except for a few, that was a few, but 80% of those Grand Lodge State didn't want to have nothing to do with Prince Hall. Period. They had nothing to do with Prince Hall Grand Lodges.
Well, that's because we don't want to talk about a harsh truth.
No, it's a harsh truth, bro.
The harsh truth is that the numbers of Prince Hall was growing at that time. So they had to make a decision that they can live with because their membership was down. And then what happens is when you have so many factions of non-recognized Masons, you pick the biggest one in the bunch.
Oh, talk to me. Talk to me.
You pick the biggest one in the bunch to now do your dirty bidding. So you call Prince Hall affiliated. So one of the affiliations, or 5 of the affiliations, or 9 of the affiliations don't have to be accepted by them. But everybody's just happy to be sitting in the room, eating at the table, getting scraps. So what happens is you feel like you have arrived when really, if you have not arrived as a whole, if it's a Scottish Rite body, it's for the betterment of humanity. I ain't even got to York. I ain't even got to Masonry. If you a Scottish Rite Mason, white, black, green, or brown, your fight is against the betterment and for the betterment of humanity to set the mind free. Anything other than that, you ain't doing Masonry. I don't care about you sitting in a lodge and you looking like Colonel Clink and you at the parade and you at the get together, you at the hotel. Your fight is for the betterment of humanity. That's why I don't want to hear nothing or shit about Albert Pike, who was a general, a brigade general over 3 different roles, 3 different sets. He had a whole legion to help fight the suppression of a race. Don't talk to me about that. And he quit on the Confederates twice. They picked his ass up and charged him with treason. But he got away. He got a chance as long as he did his resignation They let his ass out of Texas and let him out of jail. They don't talk about that. Don't talk to me about Albert Pike. Erase him. Eradicate him for his views. If you want to talk to me about him, then let's talk about not Huey Newton. Let's talk about Dr. Huey Newton.
Well, that's the
Put
thing.
some respect on his name. He ain't Huey. He's Dr. Huey Newton.
See, what happens is we allow so many other people to come in and to dictate to us about who we shall talk to, who we can't talk to, how we should talk to them, and we forget we make our own rules. But we're too scared. We're too scared to do it. I'm looking for something right now. Go ahead, brother.
I have somebody threaten me today, talking about he's an attorney. He was the UGLE. He's with the Grand Lodge of Utah. He's a Mormon. I told him, bro, if you want to take that fight, let me rally my people. You want to take that fight? The thing is, if I lose, nothing lost, nothing gained. If you lose, you will shatter the fucking establishment. Play with me. Brother Muhammad.
I'm listening.
Will you rally behind me?
Now, come on now. Talk to me.
Blindly.
Talk to me.
Think about it. Somebody trying to tell me to apologize to them for calling them a liar. I never called nobody a liar. But if you preaching a false truth, it is a lie.
It is. It's exactly
and I'm not your
that.
yes boy.
It's exactly that.
See, if somebody's Grand Lodge Estate, you can go and say, if I was black and I was Grand Lodge Estate, they can go to my Grand Lodge and put the yes boy in check. I'm sovereign. I never talk about who I am. I'm most puissant little. I'm sovereign. Masonry is a progressive science. The problem is that the people who run masonry for the world, they've had it in the dark ages. And I'm doing a lecture on
whipping. I think I was on now 2020. Let's look at the real essence of history when we're talking about Freemasonry and how the Great Divide and where we stand in this thing we call Freemasonry. I know that there are some individuals on this page who are black, period, who are part of mainstream Grand Lodges. They'll tell you in a minute, I'm not a member of Prince Hall. I'm a member of mainstream, which is cool. I have no problem with that. The problem that I have with you as an individual is that you don't have the balls to stand up when you see injustice happens to someone that looks like you who are not part of mainstream or Prince Hall, but they're a Mason. And you said, I live by and don't say nothing. That's where I draw the line at, see? That's me. But if you can sit idly by and let somebody disrespect, call another brother, whatever they want to call them, and you say nothing, it tells me a lot about your character. It tells me about where you really at. And this is what bores my nerves sometimes, you know, where we're in these different chat groups and we're having great conversations and brothers don't want to stand up for that which is right because they don't have the balls or the fortitude. They're too moist and they just want to be part of.
Say moist?
Yeah, they just, that's my brother Chris Jackson right there. If he was listening now, I appreciate if he would call in, but I'm just saying that we can no longer just sit idly by and just allow things to happen and say nothing. You're the enemy. If you see things that are happening and you say nothing, you are the enemy. Period.
Right. If you are not looking to set humanity, if you Scottish Rite and you're not fighting to set humanity free, humanity in its mental consciousness way of thinking, I don't give a damn what lodge you sit in. Anywhere in the world, if you're not trying to set humanity free, you ain't doing masonry.
But bro, most of them don't understand when you say that, bruh. Most of them can't grab it. Most Masons can't grab the fact that you're saying set humanity free. Because most of them can't stand the fire. They can't stand the heat when somebody begin to talk about them, call them out their name. They can't stand the heat when they get threatened. They can't stand it, so they want to run and hide. You know? And here's the thing. None of the people I mess with in my circle are the ones that's going to run and hide. I don't want to mess with you. If you're that type of person that's going to run and hide, I can't have you around me. I just don't care who you are. I need you to be able to speak some truth to power.
You know what? It's funny you say that. I just told my dad before I got on the call. I said, if you didn't want me to speak my mind, you shouldn't have made me. Because I'm a carbon copy of you.
Absolutely.
And he said nothing.
And I'm gonna share this with you Christians. See, this kumbaya thing you got, if you see, Jesus wasn't no punk. You know, the Jesus wasn't no punk. He probably said, what are you talking about, Jesus? He wasn't. He went into the church and pulled out the whip and started beating people with it. That's not no punk. He had heart. The thing is, most of us so-called Christians, most of us so-called Masons and all lumped in, like gumbo, you have no heart. You don't stand up for nothing.
They ain't built to do that.
The first time trouble comes your way, you want to cower down. You know, I've been in a lot of Masonic battles to where people say, well, you should just be humble. I ain't being humble. I'm tired of being humble. Humble gets you nothing.
Let me ask you a question, Brother Muhammad.
I'm listening.
Let me ask you a serious question. Martin Luther King said, if you smack me on the cheek, I'm going to turn the other cheek. Right or wrong?
Go ahead.
Right? Am I right or wrong?
You're right. You're right.
What'd they do to him?
They killed him.
Malcolm X said, if you hit me, I'm going to hit you back. What'd they do?
They killed him.
Then it don't matter how you come. Get ready for war.
You might as well get ready for it, because when it comes to your doorstep,
humanity free. If you're not gonna say humanity free, when I say humanity, I mean all people. Cause I got people that are white, they got my back. People that are black, they got my back. But if you white and you have those top secret intentions of empowerment, I'll bust your ass. If you black, I'm gonna make sure you fair. If we are not trying to set humanity free, don't come to me and talk to me about something you don't understand. Nobody can understand the black experience. They don't understand how it feels. I got 5 sons. I worry about them every day because they are a police stop away from dying.
Absolutely.
That's not their fault.
And when you say that they're a police stop from dying, as crazy as that may sound, that's some factual shit. That's some real stuff. But I don't know how many people can gravitate to that. I don't know how many son, it would be best, son. Go ahead, say what?
Scottish Rite fights the system of oppression. Scottish Rite not only sets the man free, but sets the mind free.
It does, bruh. But the thing is,
about the fucking Scottish Rite.
Bruh,
you're not trying to set humanity free for everyone.
Brother Little, I'm in agreement with you. The fact is that most people who claim to be Scottish Rite don't study the Scottish Rite body of Masonry. Most people who claim to be Masons, who claim, they're part of the fraternal order, but they have no heart. They're in it for the wrong reasons. Those are not Masons. Those are what you call tape recorders. Tape recorders will set up a set and only record anything that they learn. Black, white, green, and brown. If you are not going to fight injustices for the holdback of humanity mentally, you are not practicing the progressive science. Absolutely. You're not. You're not. I'll tell you this here, and I've said it here before. If you're talking to a 32nd degree Mason, And he's a Scottish Rite 32nd degree Mason. Ask him, what are we fighting for? Ask him. It is not a secret question. Ask a 32nd Scottish Rite Mason, brother. I see that you have a Scottish Rite. I see you got that double-headed eagle on your hand. What does that represent, and what are you fighting for? I bet you 80% could not tell you.
If they're not fighting for humanity, it is a false claim.
Well, I tell you what, most of them didn't know that they was fighting for humanity. Most of them don't know that they are fighting against superstitions and ignorance, because that's what it tells you. It tells you as a 32nd degree Scottish Rite Masonry, this is what you are fighting against. Superstitions and ignorance. It tells you that. It's not a trick question. But we never look at history. We never see things for what they are. We always want the good, the feel good thing. See, preachers give you the feel good thing when you go to church. They make you feel good. Boy, he really preached a great sermon today. But he don't give you no truth in what he's teaching and what he's telling you besides things that make you feel good. See, there's nothing free in this world. Nothing. If my wife tell me, baby, I love you. I love you too, baby. But it ain't free. You know why? Because I'm providing for my family. A home, cars, bills, vacation. That all costs. There's nothing free. And if you live in California, hell, we got to have smog checks to make sure your car ain't put no smog in the air. So the air I breathe ain't free. There's nothing free. When people talk about, well, I'm free. Okay. You ain't free until you left this place.
Brother Muhammad.
Ain't nothing free. I'm listening.
Let me say what the Scottish
I don't know if I'm going to keep this up tonight.
Creed. Human progress is our cause. Liberty of thought, our supreme wish. Freedom of conscience is our mission. And the guarantee of equal rights to all people everywhere is our ultimate goal. Pike, being a Confederate soldier, take him off the rolls. He's not Scottish Rite.
But you know that ain't gonna happen, brother.
He's a racist mole that was in the order. Now I just read off what the Scottish Rite creed is. And I dare somebody to tell me I'm wrong. And if a man fought in the Confederate Army, I don't care about his dogma. He may have been a good writer. He wasn't writing for me.
Well,
so everything he wrote does not represent Scottish Rite. I'm talking facts.
It doesn't. But here's what we run into. Because the Supreme Council out of Charleston, South Carolina, has claimed that they're the Mother Supreme Council. See, this is the thing that gets me. And there's no disrespect. Hold on. There's no disrespect because they claim it. What pisses me off and what gets me is when we of the hue, man, when we claim something, people want to get mad at us. Oh, when he claimed, well, what's wrong with me claiming it? If he has a right to claim it, why can't I claim it when I know where it comes from? Why can't I claim it when I know you stole it? Copy it. Patent it.
Scottish Rite came from the Scotsmen that were in Paris, France. And they were just running around practicing rituals everywhere in around about 1725. And they added 25 degrees. I'm going to do a lecture on it and I'm going to add a little more. But that's around about the time that they was all up in Egypt. I'm doing a little more research so I can lay it out. It's funny that all these lodges represent one area in the world for these appellate degrees.
When talk back to me, I'm just listening. You get my attention.
Amen. When we talk about a progressive science, like the Cook manuscripts of 1390 that was verified in 1610, they were talking about Noah and his 3 sons raising him, and now all of a sudden we talk about Hiram Abiff. That is a progression.
But see, the thing is that most people don't know before we had Freemasonry as it is today, and I said it 1,000 times, it was considered the school of mysteries. Now, check this out. I got one for you. We're going to talk about the initiation of Moses in my next video. And people say, well, the initiation of Moses? Yeah, the initiation of Moses. Because a lot of people don't know that Moses was initiated into the Egyptian rites. So when we start looking at this thing we call Freemasonry in the Great Divide, we have to really consider Masonry as we know it today. You talk about it being a progressive science. But when I see us, it's hard for me to be able to put my hands around it so they can really understand about this great craft that we all claim we love. Because we all throwing stones and bricks at each other. You know, look at me, I'm here, look at me, I'm there, look at my title, look at this, look at that. If you're not building the next man to be a better man, you're not doing anything with your life.
Brother Muhammad, it's interesting you say that, because when we went to go see Brother Muhammad, Brother Farrakhan, would you tell me, man, you don't put that bow tie on? Because you know I wasn't going to do it. Well, out of respect, guess what? I was outweighed. I listened to my brother, and to go in front of the master teacher, that's the least I could do.
Oh, for sure. You know, and I know people have said things about Farrakhan. Oh, he crazy. He ain't a real Muslim. Well, I tell you what.
How is he any different from Albert Pike, bro? That's what I'm laying out. He was killing. He killed and murdered in the name of the Confederacy. Even though they locked his ass up for treason.
They locked him up, but they set him free too.
That's because he resigned. It's because when they locked his ass up, he was a sovereign grand commander.
One brother said,
I think it was 1862.
One brother said, how do you get rid of Pike when he wrote the Morals and Dogma? Hold on, before you go in, hold time out before you light in. It's what, Brother Little, I'm gonna let you speak for yourself. Go ahead before I chime in. Go ahead.
You want to talk about Pike? It doesn't matter that he wrote the Morals and Dogma. It doesn't matter. Chevalier Ramsay, who was a Scottish Rite nobleman, who brought 25 degrees to the table. It's 1740. Come on, bro. In 1764, he established the College of Claremont in Paris. That's where they practiced it. It was a refuge for the Scottishmen. I don't want to hear that. He was French. It had a Scotsman's Lodge of Masonry called a Hieronymus. Don't talk to me about Pike. He's a fucking parent. I don't want to hear that about him. He did not practice what he preached. He was sitting in jail as a sovereign grand commander. He was practicing the rituals, but it doesn't. So he's practicing rituals, changing up the rituals that these boys laid out. And you telling me Masonry is not a progressive science and y'all accepted it? Get the hell out of here with that.
But like one brother said, and I think his name is Steve Eston, Easton. He said, from whom was it really written for? Whom was Dogs of Magma really written for? Who was it really written for? I mean,
you should already know. If I told you he was in the Confederate Army, why are we even giving him even any kind of accolades? I just told you who brought the appellate degrees to the table. Not only did he bring the appellate degrees, he brought the extra degrees. Albert Pike was practicing bogus masonry, re-altering the damn degrees, and we all accepted it.
He did re-alter the degrees. He did do that. Now, this is a known fact. Albert Pike did alter the degree work for which we know today. And he wrote the degrees for the Mother Supreme Council of Charleston, South Carolina. That's who those degrees was written for. Let's just be honest and true. Those degrees were not written for the Southern and Western Masonic jurisdiction. They was not written for the Northern and Western Masonic jurisdiction under PHA. Those degrees was not written for us. Period. That's the truth. Those Scottish Rite degrees that we practice in the United States were not written for us. They was written for them boys in the Mother Supreme Council of Charleston, South Carolina. You can scream, you can shout, you can kick till you can't kick no more. That's a fact.
Brother Muhammad, here's the thing about it. Chevalier Ramsay, who was a Scotsman in France in 1740.
Correct.
He brought him to the table. Why are we not talking about him?
Because the reason we're not talking about him because he's never really brought up in any of the works of the Scottish Rite. He's not. And this is why I said a long time ago.
He set up a refuge in the Claremont of Paris. He set up a refuge for the 25 degrees in 1754. Then in 1758,
bruh,
he turned around and put it up under the rights of perfection.
Bruh.
In 1762, they had a constitution. That is the progression of a science, progressive science. When I do my lecture, I'm going to shut it down.
But
I don't want to hear about Pike.
Bruh, here's the kicker to that. This is why in the United States, and when you go abroad, there's something that happens when you go abroad and say you're a Mason versus being in the United States. See, it's a different feel. If you have truly traveled as a Mason, you know it's a different atmosphere outside of the United States saying you're a Mason versus going to other countries saying you're a Mason. It's a different feel.
Right.
And if you haven't experienced that, then you're going to be forever locked in this, this tundra of just
Masonic fraud.
There you go.
And let me go in the room and let me be the sovereign grand commander and spend the rest of my days practicing changing up the rituals. You gonna say I'm clandestine. You didn't say about his racist ass.
Yeah, they gonna call you clandestine. You changed the ritual.
Guess what? They ain't seen nothing yet. Masonry is a progressive science. I'm gonna lay out the progress of the times. What people have done, they have put rules in place to bring Masonry into the Dark Ages, and that's what happened to the church, and it was shut down for 1,000 years. Look at the Eastern Stars. The person who brought the Eastern Stars to the table, he came into the order into 1846. By 1850, he wrote up the order so family members and people like that can have people with stars or women that's in the order.
Yeah.
We have changes since that day. You don't even have to have a family member to apply.
You sure don't.
But in 1876, I think it was 1875, maybe 1876, it was accepted as an appellate degree.
It was.
But they were in a college practicing it. I don't want to talk about it's not a progressive science. You historians, let me tell you who I am. I am a Masonic scientist. I only go through rhetoric. When you talk to me about the past, I'm not a historian. I'm a Masonic scientist.
But here's the thing.
Time to open it up.
When you say Masonic scientist, and when I say Masonic historian, I'm looking at things as they were. And as things change, because progressiveness in the Masonic era, it changes. And that's all good and well. But if you're still doing the same that you was doing way back when, you ain't changed. And see, the thing is that we as black people haven't changed. We still only have 1% of 2/3 of the wealth in the United States, less than 2/3 of the wealth in the United States. 1%? What is that?
It's 0.5%. Even before and even after the recession. Also, the Constitution said that we were 3/5 of a man. And the reason why they said that the that means that they could not consider us as a full-fledged human being. So most of the laws that was applied did not apply to us.
And
so
they still don't apply to us because we still don't get the full rule of justice. We don't get justice when we go to the system.
This is what most people don't understand. If we pull all of our dollars out and focus it where we wanted it to be, we would be the 5th largest economy in the world.
But bruh,
we don't understand that.
I'm not gonna.
The 5th largest
as a whole,
in the world.
as a whole, I want to agree with you. As a whole, we don't get that because we're too busy trying to keep up with everybody else. So you're right. As a whole, we don't. But there are some of us who really get it. There's some of us that can say across the border, I don't care about your jurisdiction. There are some of us who says, you know what? I'm going to do business with this brother. Some of us got it, but a lot of us have not gotten it yet.
Yes, my brothers, notice I said my brothers that stand with me for the betterment of humanity. We are so many different shades and so many different colors, and we together united. I call taboo. Look at this, y'all. False reality. If you're trying to woo of humanity, there are those that stand with me. We are all colors. But I will stand up for the harsh reality that we live in.
Anybody?
If you want to start talking history, you're not talking to a historian when you talk to me. I'm a scientist. Anybody who's
willing to be quiet when injustice is happening is worse than my enemy. Anybody who's willing to be quiet when they see injustice happen is worse than my enemy. I don't care who you are. And this is where we're at today. As people, as Masons, as Eastern Stars, as Omega Psi Phi, as Kappas, as Alphas, as any of these Greeks, any of these so-called organizations that's supposed to be for the uplift of the next person, anytime we said idly by and see injustice happen and said nothing, we're worse than the person who's doing the injustice. Period. We see the injustice happen.
Brother Muhammad,
go ahead.
Can I ask you a question? Has anybody told you that I'm a liar in the chat today?
Nope.
You know why? The truth hurts. Sometimes we have to accept the truth because I'm not just going on everybody, even our own. If I have one guy, because I know there are guys that look like me, the same color as me, and say, hey, I'm going to say this, I'm going to live a lie because it makes me feel good. And everybody's going to accept me, and everybody going to like me because I'm living this lie, I'm acceptable. Why live a lie to destroy a culture?
Look, the reason, I'm going to tell you, is because it's in your face. The reason people like to live the lie, to make it seem like they got it all and have it all and they're okay. The reason they do that is because it's all about them. That's why they do it. Oh, look at me. I can go here and you can't go there. Oh, look at me. See, I'm gonna tell you what I did on my job, and I'm quite sure a lot of people can kind of see this. Have you ever gone into a business meeting and you look around and nobody in the business meeting looks like you?
So many times.
And so you have to ask yourself, why am I the only one here? How many of you ever gone to, I've seen it for myself. I see nurses come through, and then I see an African American nurse, or I may see a nurse who's from Africa, and I would ask them. I was like, how does it feel to be the only one? I've actually had one to start crying on me. And I told her, whatever you do, you don't quit. See, a lot of us feel nice. I'm the only one. I'm the only one in this office. I'm the only one. But you don't question, why are you the only one?
You know
You're
what?
token. That's why you're the only one.
It's so funny you say that. I remember when Obama was running for president, and I went to the unions to go get some of Obama's signs. The union boys put Osama. They took a B and put an S on him.
Whoa!
I go to hold on, wait. I go to pick him up. Now keep in mind, these are harsh. These are hardcore Democrats, but they put Osama on the side. Hold on, wait. I'm not done. They go to get the sign, so I'm supposed to go get the sign, and it's supposed to be. He like dude was like, yeah, let me go put these aside. I can't believe they did that. When you want to do the construction to rebuild America.
Talk to me about the millions.
Hold on, wait. What most people don't understand is that 35% to 40 cents of every dollar comes from minorities. But hold on, wait. The money that is spent with the people who 7 cents on every dollar, but 35 cents of that money comes from the minority. The 40 cents. We don't understand that. So, son, but yet no, you're gonna vote for them to let you get some money so you can take care of your families. What about our families? Do you realize I sat down with unions before, and I had a union guy tell me I refuse to take in any colored people until our people get jobs because there was a recession, and some of our guys ain't worked in a year and a half. We ain't never had a fuck rebuild our roads, in our schools, in our houses, while we don't have no jobs.
And that's the thing. So when you go on these sites where they're building your community, and you see nobody that looks like you on these sites, well, okay, I take that back. You see 3 people on these sites that look like you. You think that's all right? When you know that you got people who can do the job, contractors, they got their license. I'm talking about legitimate contractors who got license to do the work, but they ain't on the site. They help build in the community for where you live. And you think that's all right?
Brother Muhammad, and I hate to say this to you, bro, because I love you to death. Most people can't conceptualize what you're giving to them. Let me give it to y'all in plain English. What if you got in the South, deep in the South, you got an all Hispanic police force policing nothing but a all white country community. You got a Hispanic police force that is 95% Hispanic. Do you think there's gonna be a situation? Something's gonna get out of hand. Somebody gonna get shot. Somebody gonna get killed.
No, ain't nothing gonna happen.
Yeah, it is. Let me tell you why.
Speak on it. Speak on it. You got my attention. Speak on it.
Police officers, and 97% of them are Hispanic in an all-white community, and you have nothing but Hispanic police officers. You asking for trouble because Hispanics don't know how country boys do it. Country boys don't.
Okay, that's a whole nother ball game.
Okay, so now you put all white police forces in black and Hispanic and Chinese communities. You're asking for trouble. See, the thing about it is the representation of your police force should represent your community, so you have a better understanding. When you hire people in your community to police its own community, you have a much better ran community. Now you don't have bad cops. If you got a racist cop, it's okay. It's not okay, but it's okay. Keep his ass in the country where he belongs. Don't put him in a black community.
I'm gonna share this with you.
If you're a Scottish Rite Mason, if you're a Scottish Rite Mason, you're fighting for the betterment of humanity. Because I will fight just as hard for a white man who's being discriminated against by a bunch of pastors than I would a black man. Because I fight for the betterment of humanity. Most don't understand that.
Well, okay, well, take this for instance. So I'm friends with quite a few police officers, and I feel for the black police officers. I do. Let me tell you why. They're caught in a catch-22. They damn if they do, and they damn if they don't.
I agree.
And what happens is they try to prove a point that they belong by whooping your ass. I'm just being honest with you. So they go in harder on you than the white cop does because they want to prove that they belong. Okay?
That's acceptance.
So what happens is that we get what we call black police officers in these predominantly black communities around the country. but they treat you worse then is because they want to be accepted. And it reminds me of the same thing within Freemasonry. It's the same shit. It's the great divide. Oh, you want to be with us? You got to prove that you're worthy. You got to prove yourself, bro. What I got to do to prove myself? Well, you know, tonight we're going out, right? We're going to pull one over, and we need you to take care of that. And so, you know, you do the job right, we might consider you. And that, look, this is truth. This is fact. I know a lot of you probably saying they lost their mind tonight. No, we're just talking what really goes on in the black communities, in the communities of the United States, what goes on in Freemasonry. As much as many of you know how I love this fraternal order.
I'm sovereign.
Okay.
So ain't nobody do nothing to me.
But the thing is that when we can't see what we bring to the table as black men and Masons, when you can't see that because you're too busy wanting somebody else to recognize who you already are, it's a wrap. You have the game.
Everybody was scared of when we talk about Masonically, the Grand Master of the NOI. Ooh. Didn't think about that, did you, bro?
I didn't see that one coming. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't see that coming.
What if the master teacher declares himself the Grand Master of the NOI? What does that do overnight? I'm just asking for a friend, for myself, for my client.
That does a lot. But I'm gonna take this. It does a lot. But check this out. So a brother in the group, Stephen, said this, and he has a point. He said, let's talk about the psychological damage that has been done to humanity as a whole, which continues to ignite darkness. He's absolutely correct.
Please let me comment on that.
Go ahead.
If I got a guy who's of Mormon faith, I'm going to throw this out there. If I got a guy who's of Mormon faith telling me, say sorry to me, you called me a liar. Motherfucker, let me tell you something. You can't even be a priest in your order. The fuck up talking to me. We can't even be, you don't respect me.
Oh, Brother Melvin, you went way over there on me on that one, bruh. But go.
Yeah. But now, let me go there. If a man asks me to apologize to him and I'm wrong, white, black, green, or brown, I'm sorry. But if I look at your faith and how you raise and what you are being discouraged in the art of Elohim, if you are of color, you are of color. They used to be taught you are born of color because you are cursed.
Yep.
And now he's telling me,
that's what they taught.
Tell me sorry. I ain't gonna say what I really want to say because this is a Masonic chat. Nah, bro. If you can think of the worst thing you can think, that's my real response. You don't even have the authority to talk to me because if you're a Scottish Rite Mason and you sworn an obligation for the betterment of humanity, but you have an obligation to the God of your understanding, and the God of your understanding says, hey, people of color cannot preach the word because they are cursed.
Well, we must understand. We must understand that the slave and the master didn't, I hope that they didn't pray to the same God.
Well, you know, I mean,
you must understand, you understand however you want to put it. The slave and the master couldn't have been praying to the same God. I ain't saying that they aren't praying to the same God today, but just 300 years ago, I hope they wasn't praying to the same God.
And that's what I'm saying, because you know what? When I have a guy who says who he is, and he gonna sue me, if I don't tell him I'm sorry, I ain't your yes boy. Let's dance. Because who's gonna lose is the Masonic order when I lay out the facts of how it has not been an inclusive order. The whole fact of being a man born free did not exist. That was designed to keep slaves out.
Well, one brother posted, Mag Money. Mag Money said, the Nation of Islam sadly teaches that our skin is cursed too. Beware of all religions. Hold on. Let me get in this real quick.
I'm out.
All right.
I ain't in the Nation of Islam, but I love y'all. I dance and I stand with y'all. But go ahead.
I'm gonna say this.
Brother Muhammad.
I'm gonna say this. Hold on. Just a second. I'm gonna call my sister back. I'm gonna call my sister back in just a second, cause she's trying to call in. So I gotta call her back. Hold on.
You want me to respond for you if you've been?
No, bro. I gotta get this in. I gotta get this in because
I can call somebody to get it in for you if you need me to.
No, because you must understand. I have seen the minister grow. I have grown. It's it is as Brother Melvin Little said, it's progression. See, Farrakhan is nothing like he used to be. Not because of his age, it's because he has grown. Okay?
How long has he been? How long was he with his wife? When did he meet his wife, Brother Muhammad?
Oh, he met her as a teenager.
No, he met her when she was 9. Yeah, you're right. She was 9 and he was 11.
Yep, that's when he met her.
And he was with her until she died. Why don't we hear about that?
You're not going to hear about it. But let me get back to this brother.
Okay,
he said that the nation teaches that the black man is cursed. Now, I've heard people that said Farrakhan don't like masonry. I don't know about that.
No,
you know?
I said Brother Farrakhan.
Because I'm looking at the minister in his growth.
Yes.
Okay? I'm looking at him in his growth.
Christianity.
All right?
He has a respect for Christianity as well.
Hey, that brother, my Masonic brother, has grown. I have grown. I'm nothing like I was a couple of years ago. Nothing like that guy. Okay?
But did he not say, use my name to build and do not use my name?
He did.
He said, do not use my name to divide.
Absolutely.
Does that sound like somebody who's on some racist BS? Or does that sound like somebody who's working for the betterment of humanity?
That's because he has grown. I've heard people say he doesn't teach nothing like Elijah Muhammad. The minister has grown, okay?
It's a progression of his message.
If you are still going to say the same thing that you said 10 years ago, you ain't grown.
Yeah. If you're a soldier in the Confederate Army in 1859, and you on the Supreme Council, and you fighting to keep blacks as slaves,
talk to me. I'm just saying.
Like you've grown to me.
I'm just saying, bro. It is time for us, not only as black Masons, but as black people, to start somehow. The first thing we need to do, this is just my personal opinion, is to really legitimately start to respect each other. When you do that, I ain't saying demand respect, just give it. You know, I'm not saying give it to some stupid person. I'm just saying, if the brother is treating you right, you should show respect to him or her, okay?
Brother Muhammad, I like C-Link, and another thing too is, I'm sorry to cut you off, Brother Muhammad, but is there any witness who wants to testify on behalf of the great and noble Pike?
Well, I don't know.
If anybody is willing to testify on behalf of the great and noble Albert Pike, and you want this Masonic whooping tonight, please stand up. Because I'm going to cut you down. I don't want to hear you talking about the master teacher, because we've seen his growth. I sat in the room and I heard the man personally say, do not use my name to divide.
Absolutely.
Use it to unite. Now, I'm telling you, on my kids' life and on my life and my wife's life, I heard it.
Ooh.
Now, you tell me where the fuck has Pike ever said that? He's a racist. Let me tell you why. He had three brigades. He was scalping motherfuckers. Is there a witness for this man? The reason why I'm saying that, because if Scottish Rite is for the fight of humanity, I don't want to hear about dogma. He is a dog. Somebody come to Pike's defense tonight, because I'm going to cut you.
Bruh, you can't come to a defense like that. You know, I will say this. We've been on here for about 102, an hour and 2 minutes. And the topic tonight was dealing with the Great Divide. And I'm really trying to grab it. I'm really trying to put my arms around it in regards to us.
Why do you think I'm starting out with cutting down Pike? I don't want to hear nobody talk, oh, dogma's great. Let's talk about what he really was. Like you said, the master teacher has grown. He deals with Christians. He deals with non-Christians. He's looking at the betterment of humanity. Show me where Pike, who said, the minute we start taking color people in, I'm out.
Well, he did say that, though. It's a quote. It's a quote. It's a quote.
Practicing degrees. He was Sovereign Grand Commander experimenting with the rituals. But he wasn't clandestine. Why not?
I got one question. And this question is not for my Prince Hall brothers that I know personally. It's not for you. It's really not. And when I say I know personally, I'm talking to those who I've talked to on the phone, those who I've shared information with. This question is not for you. This question is for the leadership. Not only is it this question for the leadership of Prince Hall, but this question is for the leadership of those who are in Freemasonry. If you hold a position of leadership where you're able to make things happen in your jurisdiction, this question is for you. What are you afraid of? Because apparently you are afraid of some grandmasters of Prince Hall.
You know what?
Hold on. Apparently, those of you who are ancient, free, and accepted Masons, your presidents of your various general grand Masonic congresses and your most puissant sovereign grand commanders, y'all are afraid of something. What are you afraid of? Because apparently, and the reason I say you're afraid of something is because you don't like really talking to each other. You don't like really having conversations with each other. What are you scared of? Are you just afraid that if you chose to have a conversation, you will find that you have more in common? That you are more likely to unite in the cause of humanity in our people? What are you afraid of? Who told you that you can't talk to me? And that if you did, you would be expelled. Now, I heard that personally. Now, this is not something that was told to me on a second hand. This was told to me by somebody who's actually a Mason, that if I find myself socializing with you, Brother Hawkins, I can be potentially expelled. What type of stuff is that?
You know why?
I'm just saying.
That's because it's called fear of a brother getting knowledge. That is not a progressive science. You know what that is? That is a sect. That is a sect. That is what you call something where, that is something where people say, that's kind of like religion, like certain types of religion, that they don't allow you to learn other things. If you can't talk to another brother, supposed to be your brother, that's not growth. That's not a progressive science. See, we went from operative to speculative because based on our speculation, we do science, which is the discovery of. And we're fighting for the betterment of humanity. When we stop doing that and we say, well, the ritual says it was been like this since 1700. Motherfucker, it's 2010. It's a progressive science. If you want that spiritual
my goodness,
from a Masonic scientist, let's dance.
Let's have an understanding. If you consider yourself cursed, You are cursed. If
Yeah.
you consider yourself cursed, then you are cursed. So don't come here talking about, yeah, I've heard that black people are cursed. Well, let me tell you, if you consider yourself cursed, once again, you are cursed. Because you spoke it. You claimed it. Now own it. So be cursed. I
I
don't
love
know.
it.
I speak power. I speak truth to power. I don't have time for this.
Yes, and the problem is this. Lack of, see, the thing about it is I have recited a lot of dates of time tonight. So what I did is I only reported history. Well, let me break down history. I reported his story of what happened in the past.
But see, his story
is not my story.
Yeah, absolutely. His story don't
Right.
benefit you. So when the brother asked the question, he says, how do we connect or construct Scottish Rite for the betterment of humanity? You're telling me one or two things. Either you're not a Mason, or you're definitely not a Scottish Rite Mason. I'm just saying.
Yeah, or either it's time to start going through what I call an erratic ass up out of here. You've been with the Klan. Time to go. Oh, you don't think women is? Get your ass up out of here. It's time for an eradication.
Oh, my brother.
Sometimes you gotta shrink so you can grow. Sometimes, if you know anything about plants, sometimes you have to trim and prune them so they can really look beautiful. Let me tell you something else about a progressive science. If you are a doctor is a science. Say if you're a surgeon, are you doing the same methods that you did 150 years ago? Hell no! Science has taught you how to do things better. Masonry is a progressive science. It is not a history lesson. And you historians, don't come to me. I'm not a historian. I'm a Masonic scientist.
Ooh.
That's all I am.
You've been saying that all night, and I just decided to say woo because I'm like, really, it's dawning on me what you're saying. You're saying, look, historian is not my thing, but science, when you're dealing with the science of Freemasonry, you can come talk to me. I'm like,
I'm only using logic as I look over the rhetoric.
ooh.
That's all I'm doing. I'm a Masonic scientist. I'm not a historian. I give two shits about them. Because what they do, they get with some older cats and they find a way to make sure that the order stays in the right now. Masonry is in the Masonic dark ages like the church.
Ooh.
That's what came about with the Illuminati. The Illuminati fought against the Catholic Church. And Masonry did, and that's why the Catholic Church condemned them, and people were being sentenced to death around 1723 to 1725. Masonry is in the dark ages right now. I'm a Masonic scientist. I'm gonna set my people free. When you start, when I say all my people, if you're a Mason, I'm gonna set you free.
One brother said, there's a lot of emotions going on. I'll tune in the next time. Well, Mario Fletcher, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. Sometimes in life, you have to show some emotions about some things. And right now, yes, there are some emotions going on between me and Brother Melvin Little and those who may be tuning in tonight. Let me tell you the reason. For me, I'm speaking for me, in regards to the emotions. See, I love some people who look like me. I do. And I'm willing to do what I can and what I'm able to do to uplift people who look like me. Because we've been held down for so long till it looks like it's okay to be held down. It is not okay to be held down. So yes, I am a little emotional because for those who look like me, it's time for us to come up and stop taking seconds. Stop taking seconds and stop eating like you slaves. Right. Stop doing that to yourself.
My brother.
I'm a little emotional.
I always tune in, Brother Muhammad. I never say nothing. You know why? Because I've been in the cut. Masonic scientist. all this rhetoric that I've seen wrote, I gives two shits about a grand live session 170 years ago. If it ain't going to help the future Mason. I don't care about two guys that had beef 150 years ago. It doesn't help Masonry.
Hold on just a second. Hold on. Hello?
Hey, Brother Muhammad, how you doing?
I'm all right. Hold on. I'm going to add you to the conversation, okay?
Sure.
All right. Go ahead. Hold on. Yeah, go ahead and introduce yourself for me, bro.
Hey, this is Brad Hogan from Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm a Mason. I'm a member of the Scottish Rite. And I'm the brother that's been asking the questions, that's saying, like, okay, so if we take away Albert Pike, then you dismantling pretty much what the Scottish Rite is run on. No. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Then correct me, because that's what we're looking for, all right? Okay. Correct. Set me straight, because that's what I'm looking for. Okay, I'm gonna let you go. So that's at least that's my understanding. So now, if we dismantle what the system is supposed to be about, which I can handle that, then okay, what we gonna replace it with? We can replace it with, okay, traditional things that come straight from out of Kemet, from out of Egypt. I get it, okay. We can replace it with traditional things that come from out of West Africa or Africa in general. All right. The issue about the service of humanity and the transformation of humanity, absolutely, that's what we dedicated towards. But you have to have a structure to be able to teach the people to how to go across the face of the earth and do that. I agree. That's really what I'm getting at, and so I'm just saying, if we take away what's supposed to be the cornerstone text, right? Which I'm not a fan of Pike myself. I mean, I didn't tell the Scottish Rite to base their stuff, at least what they tell us here in Cincinnati now, in this district, to base their stuff off of Pike. I didn't tell them to do that. I wouldn't have selected Pike if they asked me. All right? I respect your opinion. When you get done, okay. But when I got there, that's what they were saying. So I'm like, okay, so what's going on? All right, I'm listening, brother. Okay, you ready for me? Here's one. Yeah. I like the way you laid out alternative. See, when a brother, any brother, I don't care what color you are, when you come with a question or you come with a statement, brother, I love you and I appreciate you because you offer solutions. Whether we agree with them or not, if you offer solutions, that means you are the answer to our problems, more or less than not a part of the problem. Now, we just did a lecture, and it's called "Is Ancient Africa, the Nile Valley, the Source of Freemasonry" by Brother Johannes Daryl Mitchell. Now, here's the thing. This lecture will be available at 11 a.m. tomorrow. Because it ties it in. Now let me get the pipe. Let me go back. Xavier Ramsey, a Scottish nobleman, in 1740 was giving lectures. Okay, he is the one in 1754. He had established the college. He established in the College of Claremont, Paris, the 25 so-called high degrees. The degrees existed before Pike, baby. Okay. In 1758, then we had the right of profession. Okay. 1759, a brother went to Berlin, not a brother, but one of our Masonic brothers, not a brother in color, one of our Masonic brothers. I get what you're saying. To have the degrees placed under the Council of Emperors of the East and West. They added 8 more degrees.
Hold on just a second. I gotta ask somebody else. Hold on a second, okay?
Now, while he's adding
Hello, can I help you?
Yes, this is Brother Darren.
I'm adding you to the show, Brother Darrell. Hold on just a second. I want Brother Darrell to introduce himself. Go ahead, Brother Darrell. Talk to me.
Go ahead, brother. And I'm
How you doing?
How you doing, brother?
How you doing? I'm brother Darrell Mitchell or Johanse Bediako.
This the guy who got the lecture tomorrow.
Yeah, I have been a Mason since 93. Since 1993, I am PHA.
Whoa,
Okay.
hold on.
No. Brother Muhammad, let me.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Bro, you may not be wanting to call this show. I'm just saying. Bro. No disrespect. Honestly, no disrespect. But you might want to. Woo.
Brother,
bro, I'm all hot. Hell, I caught a hot flash.
Okay, now to my first brother. If these degrees existed before pipe, let me ask you a serious question about the day in 2020. If I start redoing the rituals of the degrees, would I be considered clandestine? I'm asking yes or no question.
Yes. Yeah, the correct answer is yes.
Why the hell was that treasonous scum Albert Pike allowed to play with the degrees? He's the sovereign grand commander, and they locked his ass up for treason. We don't want to talk about that, but we can talk about Bill Cosby. We can even try to down Kobe. Let's talk about Pike. I'm gonna start exposing who y'all don't want to.
What? Hold on, just a second.
I'm almost done, guys. I'm almost done because I never really even go in. Why is it that we allowed this treasonous quitter who quit their army twice, but he still went back, so clearly he agreed with what they were doing? Why did we allow him to get to play with these degrees? You ain't did nothing. You may be a great writer, you a quitter, you a racist, and you didn't grow. That did not qualify you to be in control of an organization that fights for the betterment of humanity. And if anybody wants to challenge that, come get a spiritual woman tonight.
All right, so look, the other brother that's on the line, the brother that's from PHA, I would like for him to reintroduce himself because I'm quite sure I was kind of like blown away, but go ahead and introduce yourself, bro.
My name is Brother Darrell Mitchell or Johanse Bediako, and I've been a Mason since 1993, and I am a member of PHA.
Tell them about your lecture.
Oh, yes. I have a lecture that's coming up tomorrow at, I think it's at 11 o'clock a.m. Will it be premiering?
Yes.
And I did a lecture on is ancient Africa, open parentheses, Nile Valley, close parentheses, the source of Freemasonry.
Excuse me, brother. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I want to ask you a question. Okay?
Yeah.
Are you a member of an organization as well called ASCAC?
Yes. Well, I'm not a member anymore, but I used to be. I used to be a member way back when Dr.
You familiar with Dr. Karenga? So am I. You familiar with Jake? Okay. Now, tell me if we both come to the same analysis. Because, I'm new to Masonry. But I'm looking at the thing and, okay, this is what the brothers are doing. Brother, they was explaining more about what Masonry actually should be about. Coming from out of Dr. Karenga and from out of Jacob Carruthers, if you read their material, then what the 98% of the people that you
delving, and there's a few scholars that is talking like that back then. They dug very deep into ancient Kemetic science and ancient Kemetic wisdom. Dr. Karenga's book, The Hosea, is a really good book in translation of some of the papyrus Everest from ancient Kemet. Then you have then obviously Dr. Carruthers, with Kemetic Institute out of Chicago and the works that he's been doing. Then there's scholars like Dr. Naeem Akbar that is really good in understanding the psychology of ancient Kemetic culture. They talk about it. Dr.
Wade Noble.
Yeah, and yes, Dr. Wade Noble, and these are people, a lot of these people I know. Like, I knew Dr. Ben very well.
Right.
Hold on. Back up. You say that you knew Dr. Ben?
Yeah,
I met Dr. Ben, brother.
I met Dr. Ben when I was 17 years old. I went to New Jersey Institute of Technology. And me and a group of my friends used to go to First World Alliance lecture series every Saturday, and Dr. Ben was there regularly. I used to go and sit in Dr. Ben's office and talk to him for hours. As a matter of fact, and I talk about this in the lecture, and people will hear it in the lecture. As a matter of fact, Dr. Ben back in 1980 attempted to establish the ancient mystery of Kemet in the United States.
Really?
And yes, and he started it with a group of brothers, and then they initiated and had the first generation. I am the second generation in that society. The next group, I was a part of that.
So, I met Dr. Ben in 1992 at the University of Cincinnati. To the university, of course.
Right.
He wasn't speaking a lot, because I was up there at the last conference where he was still alive, because the brother was in a wheelchair. But
his mind's still right, though.
I mean, he at that point in time, he was what, 90?
He was 90, yeah.
Wow.
So
Dr. Ben outlived Dr. Du Bois. Du Bois was like 93 when he died. Dr. Ben was like 97, 98 when he died.
Wow.
So I mean, and that's but that's my background. And so I have been submersed in the mystic science out of Africa since I was 18 years.
First of all, I appreciate you calling in. Secondly, with you calling in, and I'm being honest, do you feel that you're going to get some kickback?
Oh yes. Well, let me say it's very possible, but it's very thing. There's two things that I learned when coming up with Ben and Dr. Clark and Jacob Carruthers and all of them was that first of all, I'm an African man. Everything else is secondary.
Everything is secondary.
Well, hey, explain this to me. I say the same thing when I'm dealing with my Masonic brothers, be it whatever jurisdiction. Why is that so hard for them to grab?
Because we are still confused by a European supremacist society. See, Europeans, in the context they've created that we live in, doesn't have the desire to actually respect people from their culture and their perspective.
I'm adding you to the show, okay?
They come up with this neutrality, and the basis of the neutrality is their culture.
Wow.
Everybody can be neutral if we all deal with their culture. So they're saying, we don't see you as a black man or an African man.
Right, you're correct.
Well, why not? That's what I am.
So let me may I add on, brother?
Hold on before you add on. Hold on before you add on, hold on just a second for me. There's another gentleman who just called in. I'd like for him to introduce himself. Hello, caller?
Yeah, this is Brother Brian from Progressive
How you doing there, Brother Brian? Before I bring you on, Brother Brian, there was someone else speaking. I just wanted you to introduce yourself. Afterwards, you can have the floor. How about that?
Yes.
Okay, go for it.
Okay.
So this whole thing, this whole thing about neutrality makes us fear or makes us think that to express ourselves as African men, African American men, and to hold the issues and the conditions and situations for African American people and make it a priority in our lives, the society makes us think that somehow that's immoral.
And totally inherent.
So we come up with this concept, which is totally ridiculous. Like, you can be a Mason that happens to be an African American man. How is that possible? When we knew you were going to be an African American man long before your father even implanted the sperm in your mother, when they decided to come together, we knew one thing for sure that was going to come from that result, was that there was going to be another African American position. And then we sit up here and pretend like we can make our African American heritage and experience and ethnicity secondary to something that we choose in life.
Well, I'll tell you this.
I was an African American man 18 years before I decided to become, well, let me stay in so-called Masonic rules. Because the organization that Dr. Ben started would have not been considered a Masonic organization. It would have been clandestine. So at 18, I didn't necessarily become a Mason. I didn't become a Mason until I was 30-something in 1993. So that means then that I was an African-American man for 30 years before I became a Mason. So then how can this thing that I decided to do 30 years ago be the ultimate definition of who I am?
Whoa.
So now that's the first thing that I was taught, that being African is my priority. The second thing that I was taught, and this is interesting, right? Righteousness, truth, and integrity and honor is at the base of everything that I do.
Hey, time out. You need to repeat that, my brother. You need to repeat that.
Righteousness, truth, integrity, and honor is at the base of everything that I do. Everything. If I walk and I see a piece of litter on the ground and I pick it up, my rationale for picking up that piece of litter has to be valid within righteousness, honor, integrity, and truth.
So look.
Let me add something on to that, brother.
Hold on, before you add, okay. I have somebody that was waiting. Hold on, just a second.
Okay,
there was a brother from Progressive Global that was on. I want to get his intake real quick, and then we'll go to you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Sure.
My brother from Progressive Global.
Yeah, like the thing that like amazes me about this whole thing is how it took so long for the truth to be recognized. You know. Those are like the reality of the situation, and it's still brothers that can't see the truth of what the facts are being presented and how they're being presented, you know. And it's not to just fully discredit like a whole organization, but it's to make it better, you know. Because like my brother Melvin was saying, he's a progressive science. He's trying to move the order forward so we can come together and build something bigger.
Everybody don't want to come together, brother. Everybody is not ready to come together. So I look, I have been to brother.
Okay. I don't want to cut you off, but let me ask you, I have a question that's been on my mind. Is everybody on this call, we're all Masons, right? I'm gonna ask y'all a serious question. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's say I'm an African American, right? I'm an African American, and I'm with the Grand Lodge of State. I go to Utah to do a lecture about clandestine masonry, and I'm black. How many people in that lecture is gonna look like me? No. Don't nobody laugh.
Like us.
I'm asking you, brothers, your synopsis. Not your opinion, but I want a synopsis of how many brothers in Utah would look like me. Because the last time I checked, I think it's like 6% or 3% minority black African American. If I fly out to Utah and I'm a black man and I do a lecture on clandestine masonry, am I talking about clandestine masonry of all colors?
No.
Or am I talking or am I samboing? I'm just asking y'all a question. But I'm a scholar.
You samboing, brother.
Serious question.
You samboing. Because the only one gonna be in that room, really, it's gonna be about two of you that's in that room. The one giving the lecture and the one that's in that grand lodge.
Thank you. Okay, that's one. Now let me hear from you other two brothers. If I'm home and I'm talking clandestine masonry, you done flew me in to give a goddamn lecture about my own. I don't want to hear that y'all are all for everybody. You flew in Django's alter ego. Somebody who don't fit the mold of Django. And sit there and say, yes, boss. What you think I did, boss? I did a good job, didn't I? Little fuck you didn't. Because your grandma would smack the shit out of you. And I'm the most kindest guy you ever want to know. You do not represent humanity. I got a cousin who is he says Trump is the greatest thing that ever happened to the earth. He won't post his picture online, but everybody think he white. I bust him out. People get mad at me because they say, why you even follow this guy? I say, and I tell them, because I would tell my mama and my auntie that my cousin's acting like a fool. They don't even think he black. That's how much he loves Trump.
Well,
I'm okay with that. That's his decision. What I'm saying is, we have to understand that some people will sell out everything they are bred. You have some people of different creeds with so much light, so much knowledge, so much potential, but they will sell their soul for a pat on the head.
Whoa.
Let me tell you something. I have been offered, Brother Muhammad, you can ask my wife. Republicans offered me to run for office at one point in time in Illinois. It's a small thing. They said they were going to get the names for me. I didn't have to do nothing. God is my witness. Ask my wife. And they were putting $500,000 in the campaign fund for me. All we need you to do is run. We just need you to run against your mentor. Now ask me if I did.
Did you do it?
Hell no.
Well, you said that.
I would be lying if I say I didn't think about it. But I didn't do it. You know why? I'm not no yes boy.
Well,
like I had somebody tell me today, I'm with the UGLE. I'm with the Grand Lodge of Utah. I'm a Mormon. Tell me sorry or else. Fuck you. I'm not a yes boy. And I apologize for being unmasonic. I'm not a yes boy. I'm built for war, but I come in peace.
Can I say something?
Go ahead, bro.
It's important for us as African Americans to know when someone, European American, is baiting us to devalue ourselves. You know,
right.
and it's done all the time. You know, it's done all the time. And this whole concept, you know, about African American inferiority and irrelevant is intrinsically a part of the society. So when we become, or when we are in association, European in any context, but in this context, when we're in association with European Masons, the idea is that, oh, yes, you're an African American Mason, but you're just an African American Mason.
Wait a minute.
You know?
He said you're African American Mason, but you just an African American Mason.
Yeah. That's the thing. You know,
That's a harsh truth.
I'm being kind to the little African American Mason. Now, I just did this lecture on Africa, ancient Africa being the source of Freemasonry. Watch the European reaction.
Brother Muhammad, please bring him on.
That's a different.
I'll tell you what. Here's what I'll do. Here's what I'll do. It's the hour's about. We've been in here for about an hour and a half. But here's what I'll do. The brother who's going to do that lecture on tomorrow and be posted. Okay. Here's what I will do. I will open this platform up to you totally, if you're willing to come back on and talk about it. And it's totally you. I'll just interview you as such and let you have the whole show.
Sure, I'll definitely. I'll come back on and I'll do it. You know,
Brother Muhammad,
and
don't do that. I hear his knees knocking.
No, but whatever. And I want us to be very clear about this whole concept of the devaluing of the significance of who we are. You know, I don't know, Brother Muhammad, if you remember, one time I put up a question that said, can you be a slave master and an honorable Mason at the same time?
Was that you?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I remember that. That was you?
Right? Yep, that was me.
Wait a minute, I got a question for you. Are you in that group? Are you in the group?
In what group?
Regular versus irregular.
Yes.
You in that group?
I'm in that.
Oh man, I know you seen my post.
Oh yeah, I see your post too. Yep. You know, but I don't know if you remember the responses.
I remember. That's why I asked you if you was in the group, because I remember.
around that, right? Because I posted that question in several groups, and I was just amazed that the one said to me, and I knew him pretty well. One said that we cannot accurately make a value judgment about the condition of slavery because slavery does not exist today and we weren't there. So we can't make a accurate value judgment. So I said, so you mean to tell me that we can't make a value judgment on whether Hitler was an honorable man or not because we aren't there and ain't no Nazis in the war camps in existence anymore?
Wow, I remember that. I remember that.
That changed the tone. Then it started being, oh, there it is talking about the Jewish thing and all that. I said, yes, you're right. I am making that comparison. So either respond to the question or shut up. You know, the reality is you're not going to sit up here and tell me that you can't make an accurate moral evaluation of something that was the most horrific event in human history.
Well, I'm going to tell you this.
Evaluation of
nobody, you notice nobody's defending Albert Pike tonight.
I'm going to say this.
I'm begging to deliver a spiritual weapon.
I'm going to say this before we get ready to log off, because we've been on here almost 2 hours. Brother,
but we grinded.
I got to have you to come back on, and I will give you the platform to speak and to lecture, I would do that. I want to have you to come back on. This is that type of show. Now the thing is that I don't want you to put yourself in a situation where you may be outed or
Look, bruh.
I'm being honest.
Look. Let me tell you. First of all, that lecture that I gave is probably enough, for them to attempt to out me. I have no desire whatsoever of leaving or wanting to leave Prince Hall affiliation. But as much as I have my desire to stay with Prince Hall. See, I don't plan, like I said, those brothers, because when I met Dr. Bishop in this little gifted young brother, they were
that his last name,
and he even beef and honor and integrity. That understanding is very clear about the history of Prince Hall Mason and what Prince Hall and those family 14 had to deal with, and the ones that came after them had to deal with. See, I'm not no idiot. I'm sitting here looking at over 200 years of rejection. Then all of a sudden, you make some pseudo acceptance.
Guess what, though?
I'm supposed to jump for joy?
You're supposed to
you
jump.
Know what, though?
Yes, you do.
You should jump for joy. The fact that a black man can go to Utah, talk about clandestine masonry, which represents the majority of black masons, you should be happy.
Yeah, right.
Hey, look.
I've heard that, brother. I've heard that brother's presentation. My thing is like this, right? The thing is like, I'm Prince, and there's a whole big discussion and a whole big issue with John D. Jones, and John D. Jones being expelled. First of all, I wasn't there, so I don't have an emotional attachment to it. So I wasn't there because I don't have an emotional attachment to it. But I do have a principle and intellectual attachment. I want to know what is the truth. But one thing for sure, when I look at and Brother Muhammad, I didn't realize this until I started seeing y'all post. I didn't know John D. Jones had done so much for African American people.
Thank you.
I was like, what the hell? And now, me being a very proud graduate of Tuskegee University, I understand his issue with Booker T. Washington. That don't stop what he was doing. And I'm like, well, damn. And this is, and I sat with another Prince Hall brother who thinks the same thing that I do. And we together, I know Brother Fahim Knight, he has a blog called Keeping It Real.
Yeah, I watch his blog. Yes.
Yes, and I'm very good.
I got a question. If you ever contact him again, let him know I'd like to have him on the show.
Oh, yeah, I'll let him know. I definitely will.
Okay.
I definitely will. So, and me and him talked, and I was like, and I said to him, I said, Brother Fahim, did you know all of the stuff that John D. Jones did for black folks? And he was like, no. And I'm like, why can't we forgive him? Right? You see what I'm saying?
Because we are forgiving Albert Pike.
I understand the controversy that he didn't get expelled or not, but my thing is, I'm like, why can't we decide to forgive him and sit down and solve our issue?
Let me tell you what reason why we don't do that, brother. Because if we start sitting down trying to actually solve our issues, then we gonna actually have to do some work. Okay? Then we actually gonna have to get to something beyond ourselves. You see, it's like you said, when you're dealing with Africanity, right? Righteousness, truth, and order is what's primary. The maintenance and defense of the cosmic order, that's what's primary, not your little individual self.
Okay, so let me ask you this. How is it that Pike has been forgiven for all the wretch that he's done?
So I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna say this to you. Quite simple, brother. Until you understand white supremacy, all else will confuse you.
Yes.
Okay.
You understand white supremacy, how it works, what it is.
So it's Donald Trump. I'm not doubting you. I'm just saying this in general. See, when we see these type of questions, we see these type of events like Albert Pike, right? And we're like, well, why is this even going on? Why are black people even following this, right? Well, you gotta stop, and you gotta say, until you understand white supremacy, all else will confuse you. Okay, you got a thing called Stockholm syndrome going on, brother. Okay, so literally, you identify with your captors. Okay, so it does go that deep. But when you talk about, okay, so you start finding reasons to fragment. So now we got a fragment over John G. Jones. Oh, we got a fragment over this over here. We got a fragment over that over there, right? Well, that's because if you united, then, oh, wait a minute. Now somebody got to actually do some work. Now somebody got to actually change the situation. Okay?
Let me ask you this. Would you consider John G. Jones natives worse than Pikes?
No, there's no comparison, brother.
But hold on, wait. John G. Jones is shunned a half of his own. And Albert Pike is the greatest Mason to ever walk the earth. Racist son of a bitch.
Oh my God.
I'm putting it out there.
Calvin, you just own one for real, bro.
Nah, I'm on one because you know why? I don't want to hear nobody tell me about no fucking dogma. I don't want to hear it. He's a racist.
Let me say this. Let me make sure the microphones are working. Microphone check 1 2 1 2. So make sure everybody is listening. Now, two things. Albert Pike, the way Melvin is talking about Albert Pike, that's the same way I feel about Thomas Jefferson and George Washington. There will be no way in hell I would ever.
We can debate Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson was gone off that chocolate Kool-Aid. So we can debate that one.
No, I want to make sure it's clear. I want to make sure that everyone say this.
Brandon Lewis, you're absolutely right. No compassion at all. I'm just saying.
No way in hell I would ever think that Albert Pike and George Washington are more my brother than John G. Jones. There's just no way in hell.
I agree. But
So
I
look.
have to say this.
Hold on. Time out. Okay, I'm gonna. We've been on here almost 2 hours. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to. I would like for each of you to give a closing remark, so we can go ahead and close out because we've been on here for a while, and I think we're gonna have to do a follow-up show with the other brother who's gonna do the lecture. I'd love to have him to come back. And any of you are welcome to call in at any time. So let's do a closeout because I don't want to lose this. This is, when people say this is Black History Month, well, hell, every month is Black History Month because I'm alive. So we're going to do another show here real soon. But I would like for each of you to go ahead and close out, and I don't care who starts first. All right. So who wants to go first?
You know what? The African tradition is that the elder go first.
Who's the oldest?
I'm 49.
You're the elder.
I'm the elder?
Oh, wow.
You're the elder.
No, No, you're not the elder. I'm the older.
Okay, well the oldest go first then.
Okay, the elder go first.
Is it the oldest or is it the ugliest?
Will somebody go?
Yeah. I'm gonna start if I'm gonna say this. I understand the struggle with my brother, PHA, around this whole thing. But one thing that I would like for them to seriously work with, and there's some issues that I hear with brothers that have been classified as clandestine. You know, I think there's some. So this is for all of us. We must develop in ourselves the ability to not be afraid to go where the truth takes us.
There you go. There you go, right there.
You know, we can't be afraid to do that. Because if we be afraid to do that, then you will be following the path of someone else that wants to control you.
You can't be afraid of where the truth takes you. That should be a show. That's your show. Hey, that's your show, brother. Hey, you got my number. Text me. Text me after the show. Yeah, that's your show right there. All right, who's up next?
He's 49, so I'm younger.
Okay, so long story short, brother, you know, I'm a member of Prince Hall myself.
Now
To
look,
be honest with you,
look. I don't need two of you guys to lose your membership, messing around and calling in.
brother, I came up studying cosmic scheme. They called it my back.
That's a good one.
You okay?
Uh-huh.
Long story short, brother, I am interested in this idea about, okay, so how do we reconstruct Masonry to fit, you know, the African experience post Ma'afa, after manhood and community after that? Which that's not what we doing right now. And that's why we so dissatisfied.
Okay. I like
This is where I'm at. Freemasonry is a progressive science. Nobody is to confuse. This is not a history of the old. It is a progressive science. And Freemasonry is ever changing with the times. I'm going to present to you some facts to show you the progression of Masonry. And the word clandestine, rip it out of your tongues. I want you to rip it out of your mouths. These findings that I present when I do my lecture, I challenge anybody to challenge this Masonic scientist to say I'm wrong. Because I'm not worried about history. History will not save mankind and humanity. Masonry was put in place to save it for the future, for tomorrow. We learn from the rhetoric of people have thought about his story as his story, not mine. But I got to cycle through the rhetoric to see reality. And when I lay it out, things about this organization, that organization, territorial jurisdiction, guess what? It's just like the dollar bill. When you sum it all down, it's nothing more than a piece of cloth or a piece of paper. It has no significance.
You're kind of breaking up a little bit, Melvin.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead and finish up for me, but you're kind of breaking up.
I'm sorry. We give it mental significance to make it make sense. A dollar bill is worthless. A piece of paper is equivalent to a dollar bill. But because we give it the mental significance, it holds value to us. I want to take Masonry and look at it for what it is in its core. Sometimes we have to tear down and build back up. And if we as Masons are not willing to dare to tear down, like they say Solomon did, he built 2 temples. The first temple got tore down. so that the second temple can be rebuilt. We are in the rebuilding stage. We got to get out of the Masonic dark ages to be able to move forward. To start saying everybody is not your brother, that is taboo. Everybody is my brother. If you're not my brother, I am your brother. But if you have the mentality of an Albert Pike, you are not my brother, and my job is to eradicate you from the order.
Woo.
It is a beautiful system.
Woo. That says a lot. Anybody else is
Now,
up?
I'll say this. This is all I want to say lastly, finishing up. Brother Muhammad, me and you, we sat in the presence of the ministry.
We did.
Contrary to all the disbelief of what you say about this man, I listened to his growth. I seen his beauty. I seen his morality. I listened to him, and I'm not a Muslim. He quoted the Bible just as much as he quoted the Quran.
He did.
He quoted all religions. I see growth.
All right. Well, with that being said,
I'm done.
I'm gonna go ahead and close out. And as I always say, please keep your light on and stay out the bushes. I think this show is a beginning. And when I say a beginning, that means that I have some of my brothers who are on the show who are PHA, progressive, whatever you want to call yourself, you're still my brother. The fact of the matter is that there's going to come a time when we're going to have to, and I just want to let you show tonight, you, your brothers and sisters in the craft, and what we're trying to do is really build each other up.